Hello, great to be with you again today with Faith Over Fear. This is Pastor John. I wanted to think about the word judge. If we're honest, it's awful hard. It's not impossible, but it's awful hard to live our lives without judging folks, without forming an opinion on folks. We judge people by the places they live. That's not a good section of town, so it must be that they're not good people. By the clothes that they wear, they don't have Nike shoes, so they must be poor. Or by the way they look. He has this, he has that. He wears this, he wears that. The honest truth is, it's not our job to judge anybody. That's according to the Word of God. And I think back on my own Christian service and can think of many times people I've loved were judged and hurt by other people. We, years and years ago now, we picked up a lady on our bus that had very little, but she came every time church was open. Every time the bus ran, she was there. Didn't matter if it was 100 degrees out and she stood out alongside the road and sweated while she waited on the bus, or if it was 0 and she stood out and froze to death while she waited on it. And I say to us, sometimes we judge people, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody is. We judge people just because of our thoughts, just because of circumstances. I think of a group of Christian teens judging folks in a McDonald's one time because of the way they looked. And the comment from one of them, these were Christian teenagers by their own admission. But the comment from one of them was, well, they can't be saved. Just look how they look. And that, according to God, doesn't mean a thing. Samuel said in 1 Samuel chapter 16, tells us that man looketh on the outward appearance. We see what's on the outside. Well, what does God do? God looks on our heart. And I'm nothing out to know it, but let me share a story with you quickly. I was invited years ago, it's been years ago now. I was invited to preach in a little church in the hills of West Virginia, and it was definitely in the hills of West Virginia. Of course, hills are all over West Virginia. I tease Brother Mike all the time about living in West Virginia and the things of all the West Virginia jokes that goes around, but it was in the hills of West Virginia. And after the service, I had about a 3-hour drive to get home. I was pretty well beat. It'd been a long day, and by this time it was like 9 o'clock at night, I think. I had about a 3-hour drive to get home, and I stopped at a little diner. I ordered a hamburger, if I remember right. I ordered a hamburger, French fries, and probably a chocolate shake. And I then waited and waited and waited. The waitress wasn't the greatest. When she brought the food down, she slapped the food on the table and just walked away. Something was wrong. I don't know if I like mustard. I don't know if you like mustard or not, but I like mustard. I think it was something like mustard wasn't on my hamburger the way I wanted. So I thought I'd ask her when she come back. Well, she never came back. And I looked over at her, and she was standing behind the counter talking on her phone. Well, just to be honest, that made me about half mad, about half aggravated, about half upset. So my food came, my bill came, and I remember it was about $6-7, something like that. And the Lord then hit me after I sat there and fumed a little bit. I just finished preaching on not judging people. And what was I doing? I was judging. So the Lord hit me. I paid the $7 bill, and I handed a waitress a $20 tip. She immediately started to cry and said to me, "I'm sorry for the service I gave you." She said, "You're a preacher from town, aren't you?" Well, I didn't tell her what town I was from, but I said, yes, I am. She said, with big old tears dripping down her chin, "Can I sit and talk to you a minute?" And again, judging, I thought, here comes an excuse. She said, I just got a phone call a little while ago. My dad had just died. And she said, I couldn't leave work because I'm the only waitress and I support my mom and dad. Well, now, by this time, we're both crying. Big old crocodile tears running down both of our cheeks. And I, just a week later, was able to preach her daddy's funeral and was able to lead Carly to the Lord. I told you that to tell you this. We're to work the work of Christ and let him be the judge. My first thought of Carly wasn't a good one, but I just did what I told people not to do at the church. And I wonder, how about you this morning or tonight or whenever you're watching this? Maybe you're watching this as you go to bed and you want to think about it overnight and try to practice tomorrow what we learned today. But how about you? Don't be so quick to judge. Let that up to Christ, for he sees the heart. We can only see the head, and we can only see through our eyes. But he sees our heart. And Christ sees us for what we really are, not what the world sees as what they want us to see, what they want to see in us. Because our eyes can be fooled. Matter of fact, our heart can be fooled if we're not close to the Lord. So let's go about today. Let's go about tomorrow. Let's go about the rest of the week. And not be so quick to judge folks, but let Christ be the judge. That's faith over fear for today. And I know it's a hard lesson. It's something that I learn every day, or try to learn every day, to not judge people, to not see people through my eyes, but through the eyes of Christ. So as we go through, let's let God be the judge. I ask you to share this word with your friends, and I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I hope that you would. And until we're together again, you make it a great day, and let Christ be the judge, and may God bless you.